You see, when we get multiple VLANs, we were talking about VLANs. We learned that VLAN helps to do a lot of segmentation, like faculty group, student group, guest group. Each group is one segment. So there is a complete isolation between these segments. And this isolation is achieved using VLANs. We create VLANs and we put those interfaces of faculty as a member of that VLAN. For example, in the picture above, you can see here, Fast Ethernet 11. Fast Ethernet 11 to 17 belong to VLAN 10, which is faculties and staffs group. And 18 to 24 ports, so totally 6 ports that belong to VLAN 20, which is student group. If you notice here, they are separated in a layer 2 level, layer 1, layer 2 level. Not only that, they're also separated in the network. These are all not same subnet. 10, 20, 30/24. They're different networks. So layer 1, layer 2 separation is done using VLANs. Layer 3 separation is done by putting those VLAN members in different network, different subnets. All right. So remember, every VLAN is different network. Every VLAN has their own broadcast domain. Every VLAN is a separate layer 2 domain. It is not possible for VLAN member of 10 to talk to VLAN number 30 because they are separated. In case if they want to talk, they need a router to communicate. Without router, it is not possible. Fine. Now we are going to see multi-switch environment. You see, we are having here 3 switches. Members of VLAN 10, 20, 30, like faculty, students, and guests, are connected in switch 2 and switch 3. 2 physical separate switches. To connect these 2 switches, you have switch 1. Without switch 1 also you can connect, but for some reason you have switch 1. What may be the reason? There may be also some guest here. Guest, which is VLAN 30. They have not shown in the picture, but we can assume that. So we have 3 switches, and in each physical switch you got some VLAN members. If the guest of this switch 2, well, if they want to talk to the guest of this switch, it is possible if this link and this link are configured as a trunk. By default, this link will be a member of VLAN 1. By default, VLAN 30 traffic will not go out on this link. But when you configure this port and this port as trunk ports, all VLANs in this switch and in this switch will be all VLANs of switch 2 and switch 3 will form extended layer 2. For example, this VLAN 30 will get extended like this. And then this VLAN 20 get extended like this. Likewise, VLAN 10. This is 3 broadcast domain. Extended layer 2. Earlier, it was not extended. It was within this level. This was separate, and this was separate. Likewise, this was separate. But when you configure trunk, all got extended. Because through trunk, you can carry multiple VLAN traffic. Through trunk, we can carry multiple VLAN traffic. Okay, so what is trunk? A trunk is a point-to-point link, means from this point to this point, that can carry more than one VLAN. Usually establishes between the switches to support inter-VLAN communication. This is inter-VLAN communication means what, you know? Within the VLAN. Intra-VLAN communication means members of this VLAN goes out, get extended to talk to the same VLAN member in remote segment. A VLAN trunk or trunk port are not associated to any VLAN. See, even though they are allowing to carry multiple VLAN traffic, they don't this particular port, for example, F01 and F01, they don't take membership with any VLAN. Let me show you. Let's go and see what is there configured on this switch. No VLANs are configured. No VLANs. Now what we are going to do is I'm going to have here 10.0.0.1/8, 10.0.0.2/8, 20.0.0.1/8, 20.0.0.2/8. My aim is to put these two interfaces, F01 and F02, in VLAN 10. F03 and F04 in VLAN maybe 20. Let's do that first. So let us first name the switch host name switch A. Switch A. Right now, all the ports belong to same VLAN. We want to take this port, these two ports. I want to take those two ports and configure it as access port. What is access port? The port that should not be a member of multiple VLAN, should be a member of only single VLAN. So I'm going to say interface, because I'm going to configure similar configuration on these two interfaces. I'll say interface range F0/1-2 switch port mode access. This is to say these two ports will be member of one VLAN. Which VLAN? Switch port access VLAN 10. You see, I have not created VLAN 10 earlier, but when I hit enter here, that gets created, VLAN gets created. You see, access VLAN does not exist, creating VLAN 10. Good. Let's go verify. Show VLAN brief. You can see here that F01 and F02 is missing here because it has come down as a member of VLAN 10. Likewise, let me create VLAN 20 and then go under those two interfaces F03 and 4. Why it is not accepting? Because I forgot the command range. Whenever you configure more than one interface together, you need to put what? Range. F0/3-4 switch port mode access 20. So this time it is not saying it doesn't exist, I'm creating. See, earlier when I was doing on this two interface, the VLAN was not existing. So it says it does not exist, but I'm creating. Now when I say 20, it didn't say that because already VLAN 20 is created. Let's go and verify now. Show VLAN brief. You see, you got VLAN 20 with membership interface 3 and 4. So far, good. Okay. Now let us take another switch. Okay, before that, let me give IP address to this PCs. This is 10.0.0.1. Good. Then this should be 2. Let's make this one as 20.0.0. 20.0.0.1. Likewise here 20.0.0.2. Okay. We have given IP addresses. Let us ping and verify. Right now, if you go to the switch and check the MAC table, show MAC address table. Look at this. It says on this F0, 4 and 5, 4 and 3, VLAN 20 members are already logged. Now let's go and ping from here. Now if you go back to the switch and check the MAC table, you will also see another two MAC address against VLAN 10. You see? These MAC addresses are dynamically learned. The command to see this is MAC address table. Now what we are going to do, we'll try to connect two more switches. And to this switch, I'm going to connect some computers. One for VLAN 10, another for VLAN 20. So this is going to be 10.0.0.3. This is going to be 20.0.0. Now, I'll go and configure this. 10.0.0.3. Done. Now let us connect the cables. And we are going to configure this F05 as a trunk. Listen carefully. Right now, show VLAN brief. F05 is a member of VLAN 1. So if you try pinging from this A10001 to this one, you will not be able to ping. Not possible. Because between the switches, there is no trunk. The packet won't leave the switch. The packet cannot leave the switch. Not only that, if you go here and try pinging 20.0.0.3, that is also not going to work. Yeah. So the reason is this portion of the network is not supporting VLAN 10 and 20. This link is not supporting, even the switch don't have VLAN 10 and 20. Please understand. This is something fundamental. When I configure trunk here, this is ready to take this VLAN 10 traffic and VLAN 20 traffic. It is ready to take. Even when you configure trunk here, this is also ready. It is ready to take. But the problem is this switch don't know anything about 10 and 20. So even though you don't have a member of VLAN 10 and 20, even though you don't have members of VLAN 10 and 20, you need to configure 10 and 20 here. Only then the ping will happen. The trunk alone will not solve the problem. So let's go configure. On F05, first of all, on this switch F05. See, this is currently in VLAN 1. I'm going to make it as a trunk. Before making trunk, I want to type this command, show interface trunk. I don't have any trunk here. But I'm going to configure interface F0/5 switch port mode trunk. That's it. I've configured switch port mode trunk. Now let us go and verify. Please pay attention. I can see when I type show interface trunk, I can see 05 is trunking. How? I have turned on the trunk mode. And right now it is allowing these VLANs. These are the VLANs that are available in the switch. If you create more VLANs, it will allow, but right now these are the VLANs allowed, available. Now, show VLAN brief. You see the interface F05 is missing. Do you see anywhere 05? Why? Because we just learned that VLAN trunk or the trunk ports are not associated to any VLAN. And also I showed you when you enable trunk, the .1 queue, see? Show interface trunk. The .1 queue protocol will be there. IEEE 802.1q. .1q, we'll talk about that. Okay, now let me also go configure trunk on this F03 on switch. I will call the switch as switch 3, switch C. Show interface, show VLAN brief. No VLANs. Let us first create VLANs. Interface F0/1. See, F0/1 should be a member of VLAN 10. Switch port mode access. Switch port access VLAN 10. Switch port mode access. Switch port access VLAN 20. Show VLAN brief. Okay, but right now there is no trunk, that's why 03 is still in VLAN 1. 03 is supposed to be in VLAN. No VLAN, it should be a member of trunk. So let's configure trunk. Interface F0/3, switch port mode trunk. Now if you go and check show interface trunk, you can see trunking. About .1q, I'm going to explain you in few minutes. Now, show VLAN brief. 03 is missing because it is not a member of any VLAN. Trunk ports are not a member of any VLAN. Okay. Now will I be able to ping? Definitely not. Why? The middle switch still have got no idea about VLAN 10 and 20. You see, if you don't have VLAN 10 and 20 on the middle switch, this ping cannot happen. The ping won't happen. Okay, so, but the good news is this is already a trunk. Really? Yes. Look at this. We configured trunk on. I have not even gone to the middle switch so far. But I tell you, this port and this port is already trunking. But I have not gone to this port switch any before. I have never gone inside this. I configure trunk here and I configure trunk here. Then how this is trunking? It is because of .1q. This protocol .1q will go and tell this guy, hey, buddy, let's form trunk. This guy will also go and say, hello friend, let's form trunk. And these two ports will agree because by default they will be in auto mode. Let me show you. Listen carefully again. In this switch, if you see, when I type show interface trunk, the mode is not auto, it is on. I oned it. You saw me putting the command switch port mode trunk. But by default, all the ports will be in auto mode. Let me show you here. This is a fresh switch. We have never come here. I'll name this as switch B. And now show interface trunk. Ta-da! You see, these two are trunking because N. N. What is mean by N? N means what? N means negotiation. This is trunking because of this dot one queue coming and negotiating. Because it was in auto mode, it agreed. When the remote switch came and negotiated, see this N is not seen in the other switch. Here, do you see N? Do you see N here? No. But you see that N here. But you see the middle switch is saying I'm ready to allow all VLANs, but currently I know only one VLAN. So when you ping from left to right or right to left, the ping won't happen because the middle switch has no idea about VLAN 10 and 20. That's the reason why the ping is not happening. That's why the ping is failing. Even though you have configured trunk, you will not be able to ping unless every switch in the path knows those VLANs. Is this clear? Right. Let's go to the middle switch and say VLAN 10, VLAN 20. That's all. Now if you ping, the ping will happen. Pingo ping. Just now I configured VLANs, so it takes time, but it will ping. Try again. You see? You see? You see? Likewise. Let's go and ping from here. VLAN 20. We have configured. So see? It's pinging. This is the fundamental thing. You should know that every switch in the path also should be configured. Need to have those VLANs configured. Did you understand? We have just finished learning these things. Now, about this .1 queue, what is the purpose of this .1 queue? It adds the VLAN ID. You see, there is totally 16-bit, 12 plus 3 is 15, and then anyway, these are all not in VLAN. You just focus only on VLAN ID. 12-bit. What this .1 queue do is it adds this VLAN ID in this field. These are all .1 queue headers info. This is getting added. You see, this is your actual layer 2 frame. But right after the source MAC address and before this type length of layer 2, this these things getting added as a tag. It's get inserted here. So it inserts the VLAN info and send it out with VLAN 10. This switch will receive in VLAN 10 and pass it to this VLAN 10. That's how you are able to ping this. That is how the other switches know to which VLAN this traffic belongs to. When you ping from VLAN 10, the traffic cannot go to VLAN 20. Why? Because the trunk will put that VLAN 10 number because the traffic is coming from VLAN 10 ports. That's the job of .1 queue protocol. It adds that tag. All right, we have seen all this thing. This is for voice. Okay, in case if you have voice, you don't need to have a separate voice, or you don't need to configure trunk. Say for example, instead of this PC here, or in between this PC and the switch, if I have a telephone, then voice also should go through this port like this. Let me remove this wire. And now what I'll do, I'll connect on phone. Phone, IP phone. Okay. Phone, power card. Put a power on the. Okay. Power on the. Okay. The power has come. Now what we'll do, I'm not going to play with this. I'm just explaining you the scenario. Same F02 is now connected to a phone, and phone is connected to the computer. Behind the phone, you will have two ports. One for data, another for voice. Let me show you that. If you go behind this physical ports, you see there are two ports. 1 and 2. See, you see it is written PC, here it is written switch. This is connected to the switch, this is connected to the PC. Now, you see, this one port should carry the data and also should carry the voice. Voice, let us say VLAN 100. Data VLAN 10. Isn't it? Sorry, VLAN 20. Do I need to configure trunk? Not necessary. Not necessary. One interface, if it is access port, one VLAN, that we learned already. If it is an access port, only one VLAN. But how this is possible? See, this is not normal VLAN, this is voice VLAN. So you can have, you don't need to configure trunk here. On F02, show VLAN brief. Already it is a member of VLAN 20. Don't remove it. Just go to F02, switch port, voice, VLAN 100. That's all. Show VLAN brief. You see, this F02 is also a member of 20 as well as 100. 100 is a voice VLAN. That is what is said here. See, behind the switch, you have one port connecting to the switch, another port connecting to the PC. All right. So similar exercise we have already finished. We have implemented VLANs. That's all about the VLAN. Okay. So we will meet in the next class with STP.